U.S. Senator Bill Cassidy calling us this morning. Thank you for joining us today, sir.
Hey, I also enjoyed that little bit of Cajun music you teased up with. That's pretty good.
Well, good. We're just enjoying some Mardi Gras stuff today because tomorrow's a big Fat Tuesday, and that's a big deal in our state, as you well know.
It is one of the things that makes our state just so distinct. It really is kind of nice.
It really is. Got to go to gun control. The Democrats passed. What I'm seeing is the most significant gun legislation to go through Congress in 20 years. Dead on arrival in the Senate, do you think? Do you hope?
Absolutely dead on arrival. Under their law, you could lend your friend a hunting rifle to go try out and end up getting fined $10,000. It's amazing. They passed the Green New Deal. They want to take away people's private health insurance. They want to take away their ability to lend their hunting rifle. It's as if the Republicans are about giving the American people power, Democrats are about having power over the American people. I'm speaking of Washington, D.C. Democrats, and it's a sorry state of affairs on their side of the aisle.
Longer times for waits for background checks, is that part of their plan too, right?
They've got incredible, you name it, they're going after your ability to purchase and your ability to enjoy. And again, I just go back to the fact that if you lend your friend your hunting rifle to go try it out, you could end up getting a $10,000 fine. That's just not kind of the way things work.
Medicare for all. We got a lot of money to pay for that, right?
Oh, yeah, right. But unfortunately, it's in your pocketbook. So the way they imagine paying for the $32 trillion Medicare for all will cost is by doubling taxes and by decreasing what they pay providers by 40%. So if you're a nurse, 40% decrease in your salary, that's how they pay for it. By the way, Medicare for all, and they do imagine taking away people's private health insurance. So if you like the insurance you have, too bad you can't keep it. Medicare is a good program, but it's going bankrupt in 10 years. And so they're going to put you into a program that's going bankrupt in 10 years, double your taxes to pay for it. But what they don't tell you is that's still not enough to pay for it. And so Medicare will go bankrupt, and Medicare for all will be Medicare for none. Aaron, it's just it's a bumper sticker slogan, but it's not honesty with the American people.
Bill, in 10, 15 years, I'm going to need Medicare. Where's it going to be for me?
Well, we're working to make it better. One thing I'm doing to try and lower the cost of health care, which in turn will help preserve Medicare, is putting in things like price transparency. Aaron, wouldn't it be incredible if you went to get a blood test and you knew if you went here it was $300 and if you went there it was $30?
Oh, yeah.
Right now you can't know that, and you should be able to know that. We can lower health care costs, which means also lower the cost of insurance, preserve Medicare. If we do things like price transparency, if we happen to lower the cost of medications, etc., we can do those things, and that's what I'm working on.
Did you throw some gut punches last week at those big drug companies when they came before you to talk about prescription drug prices? Because I really wanted you to punch them in the mouth.
They're not bad people. They just got terrible incentives. And the incentive is to take care of their Wall Street expectations, but not to make medications affordable for the diabetic who needs to buy insulin. That's their incentive. And so we need to change those incentives so that we're actually making these wonderful drugs affordable for the average American so that she can actually access these wonderful drugs. Because one point I made is that you may have the greatest innovation in the world, but if the medicine is unaffordable, it is as if that drug was never invented. And we've got to make it so these drugs are available for all.
Did you hear them? Did they give you any signs that we could be moving in that direction?
Well, they're not going to say it up there, except they did say that if we eliminate rebates, and it's thought that rebates are about 40% of a drug cost, and if you look at insulin, the insulin manufacturers will say the cost of insulin has remained constant, but that the rebates or the payments to the insurance companies have quadrupled. One of them did say, if you eliminate rebates, we will lower our prices by an equivalent amount. That could be a 40% savings on some drugs. That would be a real thing.
You optimistic? Did you feel good after those hearings?
You know, until it's signed into law by the president, you never take it for granted. But I am working on several bipartisan proposals. Clearly, Democrats have got to be engaged if we're going to pass legislation good for the American people on drug pricing. And so I've got 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 bills working with Democrats, trying to find solutions we can all agree to that will lower drug costs for all Americans.
The North Korean meeting between Kim and the president, they left early. Do you anticipate another meeting?
You know, people are comparing this when Ronald Reagan met Mikhail Gorbachev, and Reagan walked away and said, listen, our expectations are different. That kind of made it clear what the expectations were, and they later signed a significant treaty to limit nuclear weapons. I'm hoping that's the case here. I think Kim came in thinking he could kind of bamboozle his way to something good for North Korea, and he left understanding he had to make significant concessions. It is my hope that that is the direction we're going in.
One more thing, the Cohen testimony. You probably watched it. A lot of Americans watched it. Is the president in trouble?
So 2 things about this. Cohen actually, his testimony made it pretty clear there was no collusion with the Russians. And so if that's the aspect you're looking at, then the Cohen testimony helped the president. If, however, you're saying, will the federal district judge of Southern New York have information upon which they could prosecute Donald Trump, the private citizen, not the president of the United States, you know, you could argue that Cohen is giving them information that they could do so. On the other hand, Cohen is not the most credible witness.
Gotcha. Senator Bill Cassidy, thanks for your time this morning.
Hey, happy Mardi Gras tomorrow. Hope you all enjoy it.
You bet. Appreciate your time.